Just believe in Trojans and all. Hat slipped on the boy. Whole lot of volume and a little bit of bass. It's all it takes.
Oh my God, I'm in here dying, bro. Car keys and a little bit of cheese. It's all it takes to make a. Tell the Tootsie rolling the pole. I'm trying to squeeze with. Oh, let me stop. I ain't Hove. I just know what I know. I'm talking. Let me stop. So I was in here laughing because on Freeway's verse, that's Freeway featuring Peedi Crakk's Old School. It's called Flipside. But on Freeway's verse, he has a line where it's the combination of what he says and the way his voice sounds. So he says something about a condom being put on, but he says, hat slipped over the boy, oh boy. But when you hear his voice, it sounds kind of funny. Go listen to the record. I don't want to ruin it for you because I'm in here dying at how funny this shit is. But I laugh at everything. So I don't know, but you seen that was real laughs, real smile. This shit is funny, okay? I'm in here dying. So hat slipped over the boy, oh boy. That's why it's funny. Anyway, man, welcome to the show. It's Lunchtime TV. This might be a 5-minute show. The one yesterday was like 9 minutes. I told y'all earlier this week that these things this week were barely even shows. They were just me checking in because there's going to be, it's like annual changes. It's that time. So we're going to make changes to this. Not because anything is wrong with this current format. I just feel like just doing something different because it's just what I want to do. So, yeah. But as you know, I continue to talk about all these documentaries that I watch. A lot of them are brand new. A lot of them are kind of old. Today, I ventured to this older documentary. It's from like, I think 2016, 2017, 2018, something like that. So it's not super old, but like, obviously, I'm sure most people have seen this. So if you have seen this, I'm not telling you anything that you have never heard of. What is that shit called? Okay, it's on Netflix and it's called The American Meme, I think. And it talks about Paris Hilton, the fat Jewish, Kirill, I think is his name, but he ended up being the, what is it? The slut dumpster or something like that. I don't know. His IG was something crazy. And then like they talked about DJ Khaled as well. They featured him. And there was some girl who like got really hella popular off Vine. You'll excuse me if I'm not like talking about these people by name. Most of these people, I ain't gonna lie to you, I had never even heard of, if I'm being completely honest. Obviously, I know who DJ Khaled was, but like even the way like one of the girls on there talks about him, it's as if she talks about him not understanding that like before anything, before he was an internet nigga, he was a music guy. And he like produced records and like made songs for people, and like that was years and years and years ago. And then towards the end of the documentary, Shorty reveals her age and says she's only like 21 or something. So I'm like, okay, I guess you probably didn't know because you wasn't outside when DJ Khaled was popping in the streets like that. But they talk about him and all these people and about how like, you know, it's like, oh my God, the internet makes us famous and now we're like, this shit's going crazy. And there were things about like the fat Jewish guy that I had no idea about. I didn't know that like, you know, he was being hyped up as this like crazy meme guy. And then all of a sudden people were like, no, this nigga's out here stealing. And in my head, I'm thinking like, bro, that's all the internet is. Like if you look at my meme page, it has over 28,000 posts on it. And I can tell you that 20, I think it's like 28 point something, 28,000 easy of that is actually memes on that page. The rest of that is like pictures from me back in the day, you know, haircut day, you know, I'll be looking fresh as fuck, you know. That's why I had to make a personal one, because all of those images are lost. You have to scroll all the way to the bottom to find any of that shit. But the memes are up there. But there's no way y'all think I just make all those, right? You know that they're taken off some people's pages. Some of them are made, yes, but a lot of them are just taken off people's pages. It blew my mind that people gave Buddy a hard time for doing that. And then somehow, again, another thing I didn't know, somehow he capitalizes off this opportunity. And then they still were like, you know what? People are mad, but fuck it. Because now he is hot and it's okay to be stealing. The weird thing is that, like, I have been doing the meme thing, this is like 8, 9, 10 years strong doing this. Like, it had been a minute. This is when they weren't really popular. We just had them. You barely share this. I used to share them on my Facebook for forever. And I had, the person I was getting them from was this female out of Philly. She was like the meme queen. She put me on. She created this monster. But it was crazy to me that, like, then he figured out, not really figured out, he said he modeled his internet fame off of Paris Hilton. And this is what made me want to talk about this, because, and I want to say this because Shorty has been through a lot. I don't want anyone to think that I'm dismissing what this type of stuff can potentially do to her psyche, and any entertainer that is out there. But I want to explain to you how I know Paris Hilton. I knew her as this girl, this white girl who was on a show with another white girl. They were just two rich white girls. I knew her as a reality star. Then people informed me that she was somebody who, as a young teen, had her pictures taken by some pervert photographer, and that kind of made her famous. Her and her sister, apparently. They end up talking about it on the American meme thing. And then she kind of goes through the whole thing about how she was like super young. They snapped some photos. People saw it. And then when her family moved to New York, then all of a sudden she was popping. But she is also like the granddaughter of this Hilton hotel owner. So shout out to you. Like, you come from money, whatever. But when we were coming up, if you ask most people how they knew Paris Hilton, they knew her from this video of her and her boyfriend engaging in sexual activity. Nothing wrong with that. That's just you on tape fucking. When you watch this documentary, she kind of goes into it. And yes, I am certain that the scrutiny that she received from that probably pains her. It put her in a weird space, all of these type of things. The part of it that I had trouble with was when she says something to the effect of people seeing her naked and making fun of it and making comments and jokes and always bringing it up. When she said that, for her, felt like it was the equivalent of rape. I struggled with that. I should have said this before. I'm not qualified to really speak on this. I also believe that I'm not in any position to tell another human how they should feel. So if she feels like it felt like that, okay. But I want to tell you why, in that moment when I hear that and I see her tears, why it doesn't move me. Because Shorty, to me, that's not the same thing as rape, only because you had already been in the public eye. You already agreed to be a part of all the bullshit that comes along with being famous and having your picture taken and niggas following you around and all that type of shit. You sign up for that. So you don't get to get on a documentary 20, 30 years later after you've capitalized off of all of the fame and you have the fortune and you were able to gain from it. You can't get on there and expect us to feel bad for you. And the way you do that, you want to tug at the heartstrings, is by trying to convince us that what you went through was the equivalent to rape. I don't know if she's ever faced a situation like that. And if she has, and that's somewhat how she kind of comes to that conclusion. Again, I can't tell you how you should feel. I'm just telling you why in that moment it didn't move me, because at the same time I'm seeing you wipe tears off your face, they're like showing your crib and we're watching you talk about how like you have all these fragrance lines. I'm not saying you shouldn't have any of this, because if you work hard, you should have everything that you want to have. But some of how you are still on and popping was because niggas saw you on a sex tape. And maybe that's not fair, but you opened up the door for you and friends of yours to have these things be leaked, and then y'all figure out a way for it to help increase your monetary gain. While the people who support you get online every day, give you best wishes, tell you how much they love you, and then they barely can afford their rent. I don't want to see you on a documentary crying, comparing the scrutiny of you being famous to rape. So then it got me thinking, because I talked about this yesterday. We talked about Kanye, right? Are we ruining these people by putting them on these pedestals? I mean, the obvious answer to that is yes. But like, should we feel bad? Like, because think about what I just said. I'm telling y'all about how I'm, hypothetically telling her, like, I wasn't moved, but like I should feel bad because she's a human. And that's the part of it that I do absolutely understand, where I'm like, I can't begin to imagine what life would have been like in those moments where you're vulnerable, you're doing something with your significant other, and then somehow this information gets released to the public. But also, and no, you don't deserve any of the shit that comes with that, but like, I think it's tough for a civilian like myself to like really relate and resonate with you, because like, I'm also watching you talk about and smile and be proud of the fact that, like, again, some pervert took pictures of you when you were like a teenager, of you being half naked, and y'all put them in a magazine, and then that helped increase your monetary gain. And you was already about to eat good, because again, the bloodline is hotels and shit up here, and then it's your father's father, your grandfather's son, your mother. It's something. Y'all family, y'all got money, so you was gonna be all right. You know what I'm saying? But like, when you think about all those things, should any of that matter? Or should, just based on the fact that they're humans, should we feel a little bit more sympathy for them? I don't know. I just don't know, man. I don't know. Because I do have to think about the fact that like Flint don't have water. They don't have clean water still. But like, well, someone really spent the time and dedicated like their life to making a documentary about Paris Hilton being famous on the internet and her being upset about a sex tape, and then went on to talk about how, look at the boom that hit her when she did the Hardee's ad. Got all freaky nasty with that cheeseburger, and you had a whole gang of these big sloppy ass niggas wanting to freaking do all types of stuff. So is it okay for these things to happen to y'all as long as y'all get the money? But then, like, are you still wanting the sympathy? Like, I just don't know. What do we do as people? We got to stop making people famous. Are there not enough famous people? I know I say that as I'm trying to get this shit popping, but like, now honestly, I'm going to be completely honest with you. I don't know if I would ever want to be at that level. Fuck, what the fuck? When she's talking about how people just follow her around 24/7, like, no. One, that could be very dangerous, because sometimes when the weed be hitting, you know how you be like, what if that's paparazzi back there and I start jumping off? You know what I'm saying? Then it's all over. And then was it worth it? And the answer is fuck no, it's not. Gotta stop making these people famous though. But again, I really was thinking about it all day, because I watched this documentary this morning. So I've had all day to really put these thoughts together. And I'm struggling to really find feelings that are the ones that say feel bad for a motherfucker. I can't give that to her. So, yeah, if y'all have not seen this, somebody go watch it so we can talk about it, please. I already talked to someone about it, and they was on the same wavelength as me. I'm not expecting people to have the same thoughts as me, but I want to know what people think about this. Do y'all think about this shit? How we like turn these people into these crazy like superstars, and when people see them, they bug out, they yell and they scream and they go crazy, and then these people go crazy, and then it's like we end up being in these spaces where we find it hard to feel bad for them because they make a lot of money. Like I seen it this morning when Stephen A. Smith is on ESPN, and you know what he does? He's talking about Kyrie. Kyrie got on, I guess, yesterday or the other day and said something to the effect of how he don't want to talk to the media, and he led the comments by stating it's talking about the fines and how he hopes that the money that is taken from him for not speaking to the media is given to marginalized communities. That's great. But then he continues on with the comment talking about, I'm not going to talk to the media because y'all are all pawns and we're different over here and blah, blah, blah. Some of that stuff was a little bit corny, but, you know, Kyrie's still kind of young, still grown, whatever. No matter how mature we might think he is, it does take a while to get all of the wisdom that you need and, you know, carrying and conducting yourself. You know, sometimes it just takes people a minute because he should know that he could have said the first thing without having to say the second thing. And then, you know, maybe all of this controversy surrounding how he does this every time would not be as massive for him. Maybe he will learn that. Stephen A gets on there and they're on First Take and he's talking about how he has kind of a problem with it. And then one of the reasons why he has a problem with it is because he said the same shit that I said about Paris. This is what you signed up for. When we pay the money, you're getting paid big money. Him and I have very similar comments on two separate subjects. And it really, like, when I'm thinking about it, because I was even in here this morning talking about how Stephen A was corny for that. Why? That's unfair. Why you got to go to the person's pockets? And then as soon as I watched this documentary today, I find myself venturing to that specific part of their life as the justification for why I won't give them, why I wouldn't provide her sympathy. Because I'm like, this is what you signed up for, and you get paid a lot of money. We got these people fucked up. They're still people. So being followed around, having people make fun of you because you're caught on a sex tape, and it wasn't good. I'm going to be honest with y'all. That was not a good sex tape. All right? And if you haven't seen it, don't worry, you didn't miss anything. It was not good. It's her and her boyfriend. And one of the things she even says, she just didn't like how people were laughing at it. Listen, shorty, they may not have been laughing at you. They probably was laughing at him. And that happens. But they probably was also laughing at you. And that also probably happened. So yeah, they was laughing. Because it wasn't good. I'm sorry. We all watched it like in high school or some shit like that. This is how old this shit is. The sex tape is like well before the internet. If that shit was on the internet now, it probably would hurt her career more than it helped it back then. Back then, being on a sex tape was cool. Because then, you know, look who goes to follow. Kim Kardashian used to be her intern. People forget that. Kim Kardashian was Paris Hilton's intern. And then you see her, they walking around arm in arm, you know, big smiles and posing for the camera, you know, ass, all that type of shit. Y'all do your thing. But when these sex tapes be dropping, don't all of a sudden be like, oh my God, you guys are shaming me and I'm a victim. No. Because after Paris's tape leaked, that shit was cool for celebrities. If you didn't have a sex tape in the early 2000s, were you even really a celebrity? And some of them were leaking them on purpose. And then what they do is they get in front of the TV cameras and then they ask you for sympathy. No, hold yourselves accountable. And again, look at the people that I'm talking about. Where did their pockets go? Skyrocket to the fucking moon. Money is endless now. Maybe they're limitlessing. I don't know. And now I'm wondering if that limitless shit was real. I think about that often. You think those Hollywood niggas just be popping a pill every day and then go out and get the money somehow? And they finesse. Like, I don't know what the fuck going on, man. Anyway, that was my whole take. Overall, let's recap. What people do behind closed doors is their business. Even if that shit get leaked, we shouldn't care about that. We also shouldn't shame people for the things that we all wish and want to do. One thing about the documentary that was cool is the one guy, Kirill. Originally was his whole, I think that's his name. His name is Kirill something. I liked him because he was on all that party bullshit going crazy. And his whole thing is like he goes and takes pictures and then it just be like girls half naked at the club, getting champagne showers and, people, motorboating and shit like that. But Buddy embraced it. And he even is on the documentary admitting that, like, he's living it up and he doing the same type. He's engaging in these acts with these women. So it's like, y'all can't shame them without shaming him. But also at the same time, what are y'all really mad for? You mad because a nigga's taking time to go do freak shit with bad girls and shit? Like, what you mean? Niggas really mad about that? Like, y'all women, y'all really mad about that? Because then what a lot of times happens, we see all these people talking about, I just wish I get some attention. Go take your ass to the club, end up on one of these videos. Everybody will love you for it. I don't know, man. I ain't trying to tell y'all how to live. But my whole thing is like, why do we give any of these people a hard time for the decisions that they make? And then we try to say that based on the amount of money that they have, they should be a specific level of responsible. Who are we to dictate that? Half these people are getting paid to be nasty freak hoes on the internet. And that shit's lit. Like, come on. I mean, if somebody called me right now and was like, listen, we're going to pay you X amount of dollars just to pretend to be nasty or share memes like crazy nonstop all day, every day, I'm like, oh yeah, the nastiest ones you want? Oh yeah, I got them all. I'll have them hoes ready. But that doesn't mean that like everything that I say or do is like an indication of what type of person I am. Half these people, they're just living it up while they can because they also recognize that the fame could be over shortly. And plus, if people offer up the money, you're not going to take it. I think really some of y'all just be mad that you don't get paid millions of dollars to be nasty online. Or like how people be mad at that child because he plays with toys online and their kids watch this kid play with toys and he gets paid like $26 million a year. There are people on this earth who work their entire lives and will never see a fraction of that amount of money. And so what they do is then when they see this shit happening on TV and on the internet, then they go in and they report and they get all in their feelings and da-da-da-da. Listen, y'all just sad. Go get the money. And I'm not going to say it like that's easy because, listen, I've been a nigga that's been broke his whole fucking life. And ain't nobody over here pretending that we've been rich. Shit, my chain fake, I don't care because I don't wear it to stunt and flex. I wear it for comfort. It helps with my anxiety. And that's a different story for a different day. But I ain't over here flashing. We don't have no rings, nigga. I had an Apple Watch. Oh, boy, I had to make payments on that motherfucker. But at the same time, there are a lot of these people that just be on here flexing. Half the shit y'all be seeing, it's not real. It be fucking with your brain. And again, if you were just jealous and you want to go live this type of life, go get a camera. When quarantine starts to loosen up and the clubs go open up, just bring a few of your friends and ask them to take their shirts off and pour champagne on them. This shit not that hard. Why report Buddy for all that? I don't know. I never even saw his page, so I don't even know how lit it was. But based on the documentary, I was like, yo, Buddy just is out here going crazy. He just remind me of kids I know back from high school, like the rich kids that use their parents' money. And they just on the weekends, they'd be like, yo, what y'all doing? Oh, we're just going to be at Buddy's house partying. They just be out there spending their parents' money on these girls and fucking, drinking alcohol. And then they get drunk, they throw up all over the place, and then they just don't remember what happened the next day. And they think this shit is funny. I didn't see anything wrong with that. Does it look crazy? Yeah. But there are people who are paying for that shit, bro. Like exclusively paying him to pull up and be nasty like that. It's the same way when like you have pest control problems. There's a nigga that you call to come take care of that for you. That's his job. That's Buddy's job. I'm telling you, I know what it is, man. You got to remember that just a short time ago, and when I say short time, I mean like 50 years ago, fun was not a thing. We've been out here acting like our parents and their parents was out here like in the club turning up. No, it was not like that all the time. fun was not a thing. There are a lot of people still walking this earth who came from the generation where all you do is work and go to school, and you don't get to smile, you don't get to laugh, you don't get to tell your kids that you love them. You don't do none of that shit. All these people are stone cold, heartless ass people, and they don't want niggas to have fun, because then it makes them feel bad about their own lives and their miserable existences because they wish that they could have done what they're watching people do. Moral of the story, go out, live your life. I'm going to see y'all on Monday. How's my hoodie look, though? Fresh.